Arna, thank you so much for being on the Entrepreneurial Success Podcast. I'm really excited to have you here. I know that you've got some great information you're going to share with the audience. But before we get started, why don't you just introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, of course, I'm happy to. So my name is Arna van Gogh. I'm owner of Being Dutchanese, which is me, basically Dutch and Taiwanese. I grew up in Taiwan. I went to an American school, so yes, I have an American accent. And for all you Americans out there, I know who Bill Nye the Science Guy is. Don't you dare hide him from us. But essentially, my entrepreneurial journey started quite young because my parents ran their own business. So I was always very accustomed to people setting their own timetables and timelines. And so as I kind of progressed through university and I got a job, I got a real job, I realized that it wasn't really super fulfilled because I wasn't able to do all the things that I love doing, which is a lot of different things. I always have at least 5 or 6 projects going, and one job description wasn't going to be able to cover all of that. About 5 years ago, I kind of had what they call a quarter life breakthrough. So it's not quite a crisis; it's a breakthrough. And I decided to start experimenting with startups, and then I started my own business eventually. And that business has seen different iterations over time. I started as a social media manager. I went into online business management. I tried to start a course and then massively failed. Like it was a massive car crash. And learning through all of that, I realized what my passion really is about connecting with people, seeing them where they're at, and helping them on this entrepreneurial journey. Because I see so many entrepreneurs like working really, really hard. Yes, I want my own time, I want my freedom, and then suddenly they're working 60-hour weeks and never taking a break. Like that's not sustainable over a long period of time, and that's also not the reason you got into business, right? So that is my passion now, and I do that in several different ways. I have one-on-one clients where I actually help them with services and help them do stuff. And I also coach people, which I really, really enjoy because helping people businesses grow is just so exciting.
And I can completely relate to that because for me, being a business coach as well, we kind of share that same empathy, but also that kind of same excitement and joy about just helping other people. Most people would say, we're in business in order to make money. Yes, that happens, but it's not the fulfilling thing. The fulfilling thing is obviously helping other people and having the joy in kind of having that ripple effect in other people's lives.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of my coaches once said, what did he say? Like, it's okay to do well and also make money. Like, as long as your impact is also like one of your main driving forces, making money is like a really, really great bonus, right? and I experienced that last year. Like I was on 4 different continents. I was in 12 or 14 different countries. I genuinely lost track, and I got to see so much and experience so much and meet so many amazing people because of the work that I do. Like that's why I get up every day. I'm like, oh my gosh, what new opportunities are going to come up today? It's great.
Yeah. The other part of your story, which I absolutely love, and I want a lot of the audience now listening or watching this video, obviously to think about what I'm saying here. Anna's obviously explaining that her entrepreneurial journey started with something, but she had so many transitions in the meantime where it kind of like built a journey for her to where and led her to where she is now. It is not one of those things that if you want to start a business, it is going to be your forever business. Whatever you're starting, whatever you choose, it's not going to be your forever business. And I think you can relate to this as well. As you grow, as you develop, your skills are developing and you get opportunities. It throws you sometimes in a completely different direction. But that's the kind of excitement about being on the entrepreneurial journey, because you don't know where it's going to take you, but it is always a better step forward. It's always something that is exciting, building up to where you are now. And I think what I would like to ask you is, when you started basically going on this entrepreneurial journey, what was the kind of passion behind that? What kind of was the drive for you to make a start, really?
This is going to sound kind of terrible, especially because we're both in the UK, but Brexit. Because I had my quarter life crisis, breakthrough, excuse me, around about a year before this whole Brexit thing kicked off. And I wasn't sure what I was doing. I went to Denmark on like a retreat thing. I went to this place called the International People's College, and it was incredible because it was 100 of us from 33 different countries from the ages of 17 to 77. It was incredible. And it was kind of like the break that I needed to really come back to myself and grieve like past relationships and, you know, all of these like things that had been holding me back for so long. And then Brexit happened. And obviously during that time I was looking for a job, and the day Brexit news came out, I lost 3 job interviews because they were all worried about my Dutch passport. And I was like, so something really stupid can happen, regardless of where you stand on the Brexit spectrum. Something really stupid can happen, and I would be out of a job, and I would have nothing to fall back on. So I was like, this is why I want to do something for myself. I want to live a laptop lifestyle. You know, it was called digital nomad at the time, and it was becoming quite popular. So I kind of jumped on the bandwagon because I've always been a bit of an early adopter. So it was easy to kind of just jump in and see what happens, because what's the worst that can happen, right? I go and get a job at Tesco. Like, so for me, I decided to kind of get on that. So I left the UK. I went home to Taiwan. I was helping my parents run their business, and I was like, oh, this is so, like they had a building and they had staff, and I was like, oh my God, this is so much commitment. I can't deal with this. And so going online was a really, really great option at the time, because I could literally go anywhere. And I did. So 6 months after I landed in Taiwan, I left Taiwan to go to Australia. And I was there for 2 years. It was actually the longest time I've been somewhere in like 10 years probably. So that's kind of exciting. But throughout that time, I realized that I was meeting more people. My interests were changing and developing, and I was growing more as a person, because when you're an entrepreneur, you are forced to find out about yourself in a way that like nothing, I don't think anything in life compares to being an entrepreneur in terms of what you can find out about yourself. And I was like, oh, maybe I really want this, I want that. And so I started saying to myself, I can actually take on clients that I want. I don't have to work with people I want to. I can learn things from them, and I can offer a service. And so I did. And like, even in that time, I took on a client for business management stuff, and I got to learn how to do group dynamics in conflict. Like, that's incredible. So, you know, learning those different tools have made me the person I am today, and made me really understand like human behavior and all of this stuff. And that just all adds to my coaching now. And I think it's really about following your heart, because ultimately, in Australia, so about this time last year, I was working at a luggage shop. I was running 2 businesses online and had a couple of clients, but it wasn't paying the bills quite enough, because living in Sydney is really expensive. And I was going to school because I happened to be on a student visa at the time. It was the only way I could stay in Australia. And I was like, do I really want to hustle all the time? I was working 7 days a week. I didn't give myself a break. And I couldn't go on holiday because I had all these work commitments. And I was like, this is enough now. So I decided to come back to Europe, be closer to family. Living costs are like halved because I don't live in one of the world's biggest and craziest and most amazing cities. It was incredible. I really do miss Sydney, but you know, I was making decisions based on what was best for me and my life and how I wanted to live it. And as a result of that, you know, I got to go to Miami late last year. I went to like 4 or 5 different European countries over the summer. And that is the kind of life that I want. I want to be able to have time and money to be able to do things that I love. And so that really kind of helped me realize, well, this is actually what I want to help people do. Because especially in America, like they only get 7 days off a year. Like if you're an employee, that's it. And I'm not even sure it's paid. I don't think it's required by law that you take your vacation days and they're paid. And compare that to like Europeans and compare us to Australians, it's like, holy crap, like that's nothing. Like in Europe, we get a month in total, right?
Yes.
And yeah, and I was just like, why would I do that to myself as an entrepreneur? Because I literally have the freedom. I just need a good internet connection. And I'll admit, it's not always easy to find. but that's what freedom really means to me. And that kind of led me to really explore, automations and how to really give yourself a break by hiring people. And also, most importantly, I would say, is discovering your own spirituality and what that means for you.
Yeah. And I agree with you about, going on the entrepreneurial journey is so much about self-discovery, self-development as well. And that is something that 2019 has taught me as well a huge amount about. And the good thing about going through that journey is now those skills that I've developed and that kind of like self-development that I've gone through, I can now kind of incorporate that in my business and move forward. And just in January alone, I've seen masses of improvement in my business and growth, which is just phenomenal. And oh my gosh, it comes back to the same thing. It's just about mindset, isn't it? It's all about just how you set yourself up and how you move forward. But I think that kind of also segues into what you want to talk to us about, because you're an automation coach. And in the online world, oh my gosh, thank goodness for automation. Because if I would have to do everything I do in my business manually every single day, I think I would have first drive myself bonkers and I wouldn't be in business anymore. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about just, let's just say giving yourself a break, as you call it, and think about automation, but also think about hiring people such as VAs in order to make your life a bit easier. So I'm going to hand over to you. Why don't you just talk to us about that? Because that's your niche. That's what you do. And I'd love to hear what you're coming up with.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the first things that I want to talk about as well is mindset. It's really so important. And I was just doing a live the other day. I can't remember what it was on, but essentially I have a must-do list, and that's usually 3 things every day. And then I have the rest of the crap, right? And so, because also, of course, life throws you curveballs, and like, especially if you're a mom, like maybe your child is sick, or you get a crappy text from somebody, and all hell breaks loose. So I have this really good system where I'm like, okay, if these things get done today, then I'm happy. And that's usually takes about 2 hours, sometimes a little bit longer. And then the rest of the day I can take off. I can reset. I can do, an energetic cleanse or whatever I makes me happy. And having that, set, especially if you do it the night before. I'm not always very good at doing it the night before, but it really sets you up for the day, because then immediately you're successful. Immediately you know that, okay, these are the 3 things I need to get done. And with that also comes a little bit of patience. When I became a social media manager, I was like, I'm going to get 4 clients. I'm going to be super rich. I'm going to sit on an island and sip cocktails. And that did not happen. And I think that, especially in this society, everything is now, right? I want my Sainsbury's delivered now. And if I can't go to Sainsbury's, I'll go to Tesco. Like, there are so many options available to us. But I really encourage you to kind of stick and stay your course, because you will get there. And it's just a matter of going through those growth things, I would say. Like, they're not always lessons. They're just things you need to learn to grow as a person and kind of take it to the next level. And you were talking about VAs and stuff. So I have 2 VAs, and one is in a closer time zone and one isn't. And it's just the way that I like to work, because I also have a fair few clients as well, obviously, and I want to do my best work for them. And hiring a VA is super, super handy, because like all the things, like, I don't love Canva. And I should not have started as a social media manager, because I don't love Canva. And being able to say, okay, can you please do this? Can you please do this? That is so great, because suddenly your to-do list shrinks. And like, first by a little bit, and then by a third, and then by half. And suddenly you're like, oh my gosh, now all I have to do is check it and make sure it's good. Spell check, become a really good spell checker. And so those are the little things that you can do. But in terms of automations, like, you know, there's so many great programs that you can use. And there's also this thing that I love to use. It's called Zapier. I always thought it was Zapier. I taught English for a while. I understand phonetics, but whatever. They want to call it Zapier. And that helps you kind of like connect different things. So connect your Google Calendar, or every time you get sent an email, like it goes into a specific folder, etc., etc. And one of my favorite things to do is actually getting Zapier to log my events in my calendar, because then I actually get to see, like at the end of every month, right, how much time did I spend coaching? How much time did I spend on marketing? How much time did I spend on going to the gym? And then you can say, okay, but is this really what I want my life to look like? And then you can actually make adjustments. So it's really about understanding yourself, knowing yourself, and being willing to ask yourself the hard questions. Mm-hmm. I think this is where a lot of the entrepreneurs, they trip up. They're like, no, I'm an entrepreneur, and therefore I'm going to work 60 hours a week. I'm going to work on the weekend. Like my kid's soccer game is going to have to, I'm going to have to give that a miss. But it doesn't have to be like that. So if you are willing to look at what you're actually doing versus what is more effective for your business, then you're really going to be able to make that shift. And I heard this once as well, I think it was Tim Ferriss that said it. If somebody can do the job that you need to do 70% as well as you can, you need to give that away to somebody else. So obviously if you sign up for one-on-one coaching with me, I'm not going to give you to somebody else, because like you're my baby. but if I need to make up a Canva PDF for you, one of my VAs are going to be much better at doing that. And obviously that saves me time and you, and it just makes everybody happier. So it's really about understanding what you're doing on a daily basis and how much time that takes. And on that as well, one of my favorite things to do, and I've been really hitting it hard this month in January, I've been keeping track of my mood. So
that's good. I haven't heard about that one before.
Yeah, so I have my diary, and every hour of the day I write 1 to 10 of how I'm feeling. And then I can look back on the week and go, okay, well, mornings at 10 a.m. is usually when I'm happiest and it's most consistent. So doing content, for example, is a task that is a little bit difficult and requires a bit of inspiration. Seems like I'm more inspired at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday, so that's when I'm going to do my content. If I have to reconcile receipts, right, I can do that at 4 o'clock on a Friday with a glass of wine. I can't do that. I can't do a coaching session at 4 o'clock on a Friday with a glass of wine, but I can reconcile my receipts. And so if you go into my calendar to try and book an appointment, you won't be able to book an appointment at 4 o'clock on a Friday because that is my time for me and my receipts and my wine. And so being able to kind of like draw those boundaries is super important. And so for me, it's really about be honest with yourself and look at those boundaries and look at where you are not adhering to them, and really give yourself the time and space to create that, really. And this is why I love doing what I do, because I've seen people, one of my clients actually managed to quit his full-time job, and his side gig is now his full job, which is super exciting because you've given people space, A, in their heads, and B, in their calendar to be able to actually achieve those things, which is incredible.
I really like what you're saying about the mood days. That is something that I haven't personally done, but I do have what I call energy. I always look at my energy, and I know for me personally that in the mornings, I'm always more refreshed. My energy is always at its peak, basically. And those are the morning or certain, I think it's on Wednesdays in my calendar, I have when I do my content. So in the mornings, that's when I spend time on my content. But then also to be creative and to be productive in a sense, I always make sure that my mornings have got things or that kind of space where I do the creative things. And that's normally where I get a lot more done as well, where I'm at my most productive kind of stage. And then towards the afternoon, I start really slowing down. But every now and then I have the odd recording or the coaching call that I'm doing. And then I always try and make sure that I don't dissipate my energy levels first thing in the morning. So obviously as the day progresses, I have that available for my students as well when I'm doing the coaching. So the mood days is, you know, it's a different way of looking at it, but I can completely understand the concept, and it makes so much sense as well. And I like the fact that you're taking record of it. I mean, that's a good point. That's really a good point. So for all the listeners, take note, please do. This is really important.
Yeah. Send them in to me. I love seeing them. It's always so like, I always feel like I'm snooping into somebody's life, like gaining a bit of insight. It's super interesting. Yeah, and you know, I think that's so important, like what you're saying about like safeguarding your time, right? And doing creative stuff in the morning, because that's when you feel the best. And like, yes, like yeah, like being able to set those boundaries and saying, okay, well, before 10 o'clock I'm not taking any calls because it's me time, you know, I can do my CEO thing. And yeah, that's a really like I also have CEO days. That's basically what I'm trying to get at. So Mondays are usually CEO days, and that's where I work on the business, not in the business, not on the business. That's the proper phrasing. And so, you know, I do different things, because then it sets me up for the week as well, because, oh, you know, this payment's going, oh, I have to do that. Oh yes. And then there's that. And it really helps me kind of set my priorities, not only for the day, but also for the week. And again, it's just about boundaries. It's like, how are you able to say no? And it's really interesting, because as well, I'm sure you have this, we have clients from all over the world. And so sometimes somebody from Australia will text you at 10 p.m. at night. You're like, oh, I really need to reply to, you know, and sometimes if it's an emergency, yes, I will do it, because I'm that kind of person. But if it's not, then I will let it sit until tomorrow morning for me, because this is also my life, right?
Yeah.
And I think especially coaches or people in service industry, in the entrepreneurial world, it's like, no, it has to be done now. We have to do this immediately. And it's like, no, like take your time, like do it well, because then you're also, and especially if you're in a better mood, you're going to do it 10 times better than if you're going to do it at 10 o'clock at night. Because I remember somebody, it wasn't even a client, but he asked me to do something on Canva at 10 o'clock at night. And I did it, and it took me like 3 times before I got it right, because I was ready to go to bed. Like I wasn't, you know, spell checking his mistake. I was just trying to do the favor for a friend. So yeah, it's really important that you kind of set those parameters. And that also comes with letting go of a little bit of control.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really tough one.
Oh, that is a tough one, because I'm a bit of a control freak, and I'll put my hand up to that.
Join the club. Yeah. Like I'm not gonna lie, this is something I still struggle with myself.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of a lifelong struggle, but like every small win is a win, right? Everything is a victory. So hiring VAs, like start with baby steps, you know, don't immediately go for a full-time, you know, 25 hours a week or whatever, or even part-time, right? You know, start with small tasks. I actually really enjoy using Fiverr. I think it doesn't get enough credit for actually producing really good results. And then also it gives you an opportunity to actually step into CEO mode. And one of the questions that I often ask my clients is, are you the CEO or the secretary? Because I can't tell. Right? And it's like, no, I'm just going to send this email. I'm just going to do, no, you're the CEO now. Step into it. And especially for women, like it's quite hard for us to have the balls even, right? To really step into that, but don't be afraid of it. And like, I get it, because I actually worked in a really big, management consultant company in Sydney, and I was the executive assistant, so I had to do all those things. And then doing that during the day, and at night coming home and like stepping into my, you know, boss pants, like that was really hard. And but then again, like I saw that as an experience for me to really understand what the difference is, you know, and how I can play and work with that and use it to my advantage rather than let it overwhelm me. So yeah.
Yes. I like what you're saying about, well, first of all, definitely credit to Fiverr, because that's where I get my VAs as well from. But for anybody who's listening, who's thinking, oh, everybody's talking about getting a VA, but I'm just not there yet. Or you might think, I just don't have the money yet to pay for a VA. We're not talking about paying a salary. You're talking about paying somebody to do something for you so you can get that time back. That's the most important thing. And if you're coming from a mindset of thinking, I don't have the money to pay that person, well, how else are you going to make money so you can pay for a VA? Because your time is a lot more valuable than all the pennies and all the dollars and all the pounds put together. So you've got to think at it from a different perspective. And you jump in here at any point if you want, Arna. But once you get a VA, it kind of becomes a bit addictive as well. You kind of like that kind of feeling where you can pass something on to somebody knowing that they will do the work and they'll come back to you. Once you've started that rotation and they come back to you, you're going to go, oh, he or she did a great job. Oh, here's something else. They're going to come back to you and go, great job. And then you start building a trust factor and it becomes a habit, but also it becomes a kind of sense of satisfaction where somebody else is helping you out and some things are taken care of while you can concentrate on other entities of your business.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that is actually in my elevator pitch. So I help entrepreneurs automate their businesses so they can refocus on their passion, work less and earn more. Like that is the pinnacle of the dream. And I think a lot of people forget that. And one of my favorite, I don't do math very well, but one of my favorite things to do is to say, okay, tell me, Karen, how much are you worth per hour? Karen says, okay, I'm worth 50 pounds an hour, for example. Okay, so how long does it take you to, let's go back to the receipts, reconcile your receipts. Oh, it takes me about an hour and a half. Okay, so what is it? Literally entering data into a spreadsheet. Well, the average rate currently in the Philippines, I believe, is something like $4 or $5 an hour, which equates to like 3 pounds. I mean, I told you math is not my strong point, so that's wrong. I apologize, but it's very low. Yeah. So would you rather spend 75 pounds doing your receipts, or would you rather spend 7? Right? And like, I think people forget that that's actually a math equation you should be doing.
Yeah.
And I remind myself that every time when I send something off, I'm like, ooh, could I have done that myself? Ooh. And I'm like, no, let's do the math. And they're like, nope, that is definitely worth the time. And people say that starting a small business, oh, you don't need any money, you can just get started. Well, yes, technically, but also no, because a lot of what you are earning, you should be like reinvesting and starting out with those really good habits also means that your VA is growing with you.
Yeah.
Which means that by the time you're in year 2, year 3, you're actually growing together. They know your business inside and out, and they are essentially invaluable to you because they know everything and they can do everything probably just as good as you.
And in half the time, sometimes even as well.
Yeah. Yeah, like that PDF document did not make itself. I will tell you that. And it was so funny this morning. I was on the phone with a friend and I was like, my VA actually does really good work. Like she actually does. I was really struck by that this morning. And he was like, did you tell them? Like, yes, of course I did. But I think that's the really, really important side of doing things. And also like I've been here as well. It sometimes takes a few different types of VAs to get you to where you want to be. Yeah. So I've paid the lowest price, I've paid the premium price, and I've paid the middle price. And at the end of the day, it really comes down to communication. And also something that someone said to me a while ago now, it's like, Arna, not everyone can be like you. It's like, oh yeah, they're not in my head. So it's been definitely a really, really interesting road. And again, it's all about self-reflecting, like what does this say about me and what does this mean for me? And yeah, it's so much fun, and it makes your business also so much easier because like I know that if I post up a task at night, when I wake up in the morning, it's going to be done, and I can just revise a little bit or ask them to revise it, and then yeah, and then it's all good.
I
So,
know. And then you just feel freedom and you can move forward again.
and then you can cross that thing off your list, which is incredible.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, Arna, this is absolutely amazing. I just quickly want to recap on a couple of the things that you've said with us. And the couple of things that really has stood out is obviously once you start going through your calendar, as you said, noting down where you spend most of your time. And I like the fact that you're calling about Zapier. Did I say that right? Zapier.
Yeah, I think so.
That you're using Zapier because it's such a great tool as well. Then at the end, say for at the end of a busy week, to go and see where's the most of your time spent, and then try and figure out, is that time really valuable? Do the maths. Do you really want to spend that time doing that kind of work, or is that something that you can pass on to a VA to give you that time back, really? So that to me is a great tip here that I want to make sure the audience definitely gets. But then also noting down your mood days or your energy days. When do you feel, what is your mood like on certain days? Note it down, reflect back on it, and then try and figure out why is your mood like that. Is it because, again, of tasks that you're not really fond of, but you've got to do them? Get them to a VA. Or if it is tasks that you absolutely thoroughly love doing, great. But then if you say yes to something, something else has got to go as well. You can't do them both. So it's all about keeping that balance. And then, automating things. But then again, the other tip that I want to say here is start thinking. I won't say thinking, start getting a VA. Let's be actionable here. Don't think about it. Start going out there, go on Fiverr, and look for VAs that can help you. It doesn't have to be a full-time thing. You can start slowly, as Arna has mentioned. And the first VA that you're going to get might not be the perfect one. That's fine. You're going to start sourcing. You're going to find some other people who can do the work. And then you're going to start building that relationship. You're going to start growing together. And you're going to love the satisfaction of having somebody helping you out so you can cross those things off your list. Those are kind of like the key points that I've taken away from here. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, any final tips?
Well, actually, just to add to your get a VA now, you can totally do it. It's super easy, because what you can do is actually go on any of the entrepreneur groups, especially the larger ones, and just search looking for a VA in the search box, because so many people are looking for a VA, and you can literally just go through past comments and click on links and click on profiles and track them. That's how I found VAs in the past, and a lot of the time they also just come to you, which is incredible. So that's really easy and quick way to be able to find a VA quickly. And I think for me also, I just want to underline the boundaries aspect of it, and that encompasses everything. And so if having lunch with your girlfriend is really important, put it in the diary, because it's probably linked to Calendly or Acuity, let's be honest here, and it will get blocked out, which means that you're actually giving yourself time and you are actually doing what you love. And even if it means you have to take Thursday afternoons off, that's fine. In the long run, it's okay, because that is you living your dream life. And the more you can sit in that vibration, so I'm going to get a little bit spiritual, the more you can sit in the vibration of, oh my gosh, I'm living my dream life. I'm having, cocktail hour, happy hour drinks on a Thursday, the more you're actually going to do well and better in your business, and ergo, find the success that you're looking for.
See, I almost want to go woohoo there.
That's it.
That's it. Because, we always, how can I say, oh my gosh, I'm going to go a little bit backtrack here, but let me quickly say something. Okay. When you kind of if you live a life where there's a mindset lack of, I don't have enough time to do this, I don't have the money to go on a Thursday afternoon, take the day off and have cocktails with my girlfriends. If you have that kind of lack of mindset, you are going to struggle. Your business is not going to grow. You need to start living in that vibration, like you're saying, Arna, about this is the life I have. I can create the life I want. I can manage my calendar the way I want. I can do whatever I want. And make a success of it, and experience joy, and experience happiness, and experience the attraction of getting clients, getting customers, making the money. You can have all of that. You just got to live in the vibration. And that's why I'm so excited, going, yay, I'm glad I'm not the only one who's kind of like thinking about it that way, because that's where life is. It's not in the mindset of lack. It's in that vibration of being in control of what you want to do.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited now because it's the afternoon, and like now I'm super excited about the rest of my afternoon. You really jazzed me up.
Oh, I know. That's why I love doing this podcast. I've got a few more coming up, so my energy is being hyped up as we go.
You don't need Prosecco.
You don't. Oh my goodness. Right, Arna, why don't you talk to us a little bit about your 5-day challenge? Because I'm really excited to hear about what the 5-day challenge is all about, and obviously how people can get hold of you.
Yes, of course. So the 5-day challenge is absolutely free. You can find it, I believe, in the show notes. I double checked before we started recording. And also in my Instagram bio as well. It takes you through a 5-day process of where I teach you literally how to embrace your chaos. And so it incorporates a lot of what we've been talking about on this podcast today. So the day 1 task is literally write down everything that you're doing and give yourself a score on the emotion board, if you will. And we kind of go through Zapier. I explain how that works. I explain a little bit more about state hacks. So I didn't get into it today, but I am a massive Wim Hof fan. I take cold showers every day, and do my affirmations and that kind of thing. And then we also talk about content and content batching and how that looks like and how that works. And then, of course, finally, you get an opportunity to speak with me, because I really love hearing, first of all, how people are doing in their business, what they're doing, and how, doing these little things have really helped them in their business. And also potentially if you want to work with me, if you want to work together, I'm super open to opportunities. I'm so enjoying where I am in life right now, and I just really am loving being able to give back. Yes. So yeah, super honored for this as well today, Henriette. Thank you so much.
Oh, bless you. Well, thank you so much, Arna, for taking the time, making time in your schedule, being here with us.
Yeah,
no, I loved having you here, and I love our energy as well. I can just see that, this is really what I enjoy about doing these podcasts, because we meet women from all around the world, even though you're not too far away from me. But, just having that kind of conversation and sharing it with the audience so everybody can see whatever your dream, whatever your goals are. If you want to start a business, if you're trying to grow your business, there are so many ways to do it. And everybody's journey is unique. Everybody's got its own unique path that they're walking on, but you're not alone. If you look to your left, you look to your right, there's people walking on their own journeys, but they're alongside of you, and you just need to reach out to each and every one of them. Now, like Arna said, obviously the 5-day challenge is available now to you for free. So go down to the show notes below this video or below the audio, go and sign up for it. I'm definitely going to sign up. I want to see what this is all about, because I'm really intrigued about it. Yeah. And then for those of you who obviously want to get in touch with Arna, her website details will be in the show notes as well. Instagram, social profile details, they'll be all there available. So make sure you get in contact with her as well. Arna, again...
Being Dutchanese is really hard to spell on air, so
Arna, again, thank you so much for your time being here. I'm sure we're going to be in touch fairly soon again, but I wish you all of the best for your journey yourself.
Thank you, and you as well. Thank you so much. I'm so humbled.
Thank you. Take care.